back and we are live. It took a little bit longer there, but we got everything up and set. So, hey, glad you're here today. We're going to go through a pretty fast-paced, um, um, I guess you could say, walkthrough of some of the stuff that we're doing. Potentially take a live trade here with you today or two. Who knows? But I do want to say before we jump on that, or before we kick this off, that everything we say, there's no financial advice here. Stephen and I are here documenting our journey of turning $250 into $1 million. Okay. And all through Forex trading. So can you start with that small of an amount and make that kind of money? Yes, you can. How long is it going to take? I have a clue. All right. We're figuring this stuff out because here's the key, right? We're Stephen, Mike. By the way, Mike is on an airplane, probably somewhere over the Atlantic right now, heading down to Cancun, and he or Aruba. I forget now where he's going. He's going somewhere warm. Uh, and all three of us here from New England, we got snow outside, and it's crazy. So I'm glad he was able to pull that off and head down to a warm place. So, Mike, if you happen to catch this later, enjoy. All right, and enjoy your time down there.
And then hopefully he connects tomorrow and really show everyone that you can do this anywhere in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have an internet connection, you got it. Yep.
And that's the plan, by the way. So tomorrow when we go live, Mike is planning to be live from whatever island he's on, and which is great. And we'll be doing our normal trading and everything else there as well. So, but for today, we're going to get into some fun stuff. And just like I said, not financial advice, we're just documenting what we're doing. And we're going to show you here when we lose a trade, which means we lost some money, let's say, or we didn't profit. All right. It was not a profitable trade. I'm going to show that to you. When it's a profitable trade, we're going to show you. And we're going to break it down. Why? Right? Because this is us learning. When Stephen and I and Mike all started this journey, this quest, the three of us, none of us had ever traded Forex before.
Right.
This is brand new for us. And now we've been at this for a few months, so we've learned a lot of stuff. And now it's time to, okay, we can share some of these things that we've learned. But again, don't take our advice. You do your own research and make your own decisions. So enough said on that for now. But let's get in. I'm going to share. And then Stephen, did you have, as I'm pulling this up, did you have any comments about our journey so far? Because we've been at this for a few months and we've learned a lot, right?
Yeah, it was just the point to put out is that the training that we've had brought the three of us together. You and I knew each other beforehand. I met Mike, here, and we just decided to do this together. And we come from three different backgrounds, and walks in life and areas in our life, and it just clicked with us. And part of it, the big thing is Donnie Pips and how he leads through the training, because each session you gain more knowledge, and then it becomes exponential. And when you're with the community, and we're here on the mornings before we got on this call with him, and you're hearing other people ask questions on what they're doing, and you see the trades that they've made, and some successful, most successful, some that weren't. But overall, there isn't anybody who has said, "Oh, I crashed and burned and I'm all done." And I think that's a big thing to point out.
Yeah.
This isn't where you're taking all of your, let's say, retirement money and putting it in some place. This isn't. It's taking small incremental amounts and doing it and growing it in a way that you're not able to right now in the traditional way. To take your funds and put it with a stockbroker or a financial planner, you're risking all of your capital. Here, you don't risk any of it. It's you control it from trade, from pushing the button trade to cashing out. No one else has control over your funds. that's really a key feature for me, because I've known 3 people that have lost significant money because their financial planners were not the best people.
Well, not
Going
just that.
from there, I mean, yeah, and so it's putting you in control. So I look at this now and I said, retirement, it's changing. To go back to the traditional way of buying and holding stocks or putting your money in a mutual fund, earning, let's say you had a great year, 15%, and paying 4% to the broker. Well, you're now down to 10 or 11% that you're
Right.
gaining. And here, yeah, there are some fees, but nothing like that you have there. Quick
Yeah.
story. Yesterday, I'm talking to a friend of mine that we grew up together, and he was on a trading program.
Mhm.
How to gain an edge in which stocks to pick to buy and hold for the long term.
Mhm.
And all I could picture was Jurassic Park and dinosaurs.
That's funny.
and, and so I have not told him what I was doing. I did. And he says, oh, he says, well, then you have short-term capital gains. I don't want to pay those. And I said, well, it's not on everything. And you could talk to an accountant. And I'm not going to go through the accounting because I'm not in accounting, but I have looked at it for what I need to do myself. And I said, even if it's that, even if you're getting taxed at a higher rate on those gains, if those gains are exponentially greater than the traditional buy stocks and hold them for a long period of time, and at the end you have more money, even after taxes, which is better? And the dinosaur roared, I just don't like paying taxes.
Well, I'll tell you, and you sort of took me in a different direction than I was going, which is why I pulled down that chart, because I want people to see you as you're talking rather than on a small little piece.
Right, yeah.
But I was taught, I used to be of that same mind frame. I don't like paying taxes. Well, I got to the point where, okay, I want to pay all the taxes I'm legally obligated to pay. I want to support my country. I'm good with that. But I want to pay only what I'm obligated to pay, what I'm supposed to by law. I don't want to just donate extra. If I want to donate, I'll donate to a cause outside of that, right? And so that's where I got to a long time ago. And so I was talking with a guy, and I said to him, I'm just trying to pay as few taxes as possible. And he looks at me and says, why would you do that? I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, wouldn't you rather make a whole lot more money and pay millions in taxes? I was like, yeah, if I have more money in the bank in the end, yeah, that makes more sense. So it was a whole different way to look at it. And he's right.
Right. Yeah.
That was an old mentor of mine, a guy named T.A. King. Great guy. Out of Massachusetts, old friend. Yeah, actually, I miss him too. I haven't spoken with him in a while. I got to give him a call. That just makes me think of him. But you see what you bring something up, and where does it take us, right? Who knows?
Right.
But one of the things, and Mike and I have talked about this. You and I have talked about this. One of the things that we get on our quest. And by the way, if you want to join us in this quest, feel free. Go to q2am.com. You can join us. One of us will reach out to you when we get a chance, and just fill out the form. It's really simple, and we'll walk you through that process. It really is pretty simple. But one of the things that we get with this quest is we get something called Einstein. So we get the Donnie Pips trainings live. We trade with him live. All right. So we get some great stuff live, but we also get all of the recordings from the regular trainings that we can access at any time we go back to. We get something called Einstein. Einstein is the greatest trade. I don't want to say picker, but it alerts us, right? That, hey, this could be a good trade. Do your research. If you like it, take it, right? And I always love it when I call a trade and Einstein comes behind me afterwards and says, hey, this is a good trade. Love it when that happens. Gotta say, because then I'm like, all right, that's some vindication there. And it's usually right. I mean, Einstein is right at least for take profit one, it's got to be 90+% of the time. All right. Which is awesome. But on top of that, and Stephen, I know you can talk to this too, but we have Omni and we have Alpha. So these are algorithms. Some of you have looked at algorithmic trading. And some of the algorithmic trading that's out there, there's some really good ones, but they're really pretty expensive. So in algorithmic trading, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's actually you're putting money into a brokerage that it should be in a brokerage that you control, by the way, not that somebody else controls. But where you connect an algorithm to your brokerage, and that algorithm takes the trades. So the algorithm does the buys, it does the sells, it gets you out of those trades. It does all of that. And that's pretty powerful because then you don't even have to learn to do it. You just set it up, right? So that's something that you have. We got multiple different algorithms. Our main algorithm that we use called Alpha X, I think it is. If you're going to buy that, you've done the research, Stephen. If somebody was going to go and get Alpha X outside of how we do it through our Quest, right? If they're going to go pay for it, what do they pay for that?
Typically $5,000 plus. There are some programs that have it available, but you're paying more fees into it. Like you get access to only that, but if you really want their whole program, it starts at over
5,000, and I've seen as high as 20. Right?
Oh yeah, no, yes, I've seen several. I haven't seen that at that height. I've seen several others where and people are buying those, and they're spending that kind of money to get them, and they literally, they don't. You can go blind and just say, "Hey, I'm going to run this algorithm." Here we've got the advantage that when the algorithm does something, we've learned, and we can look and say, "Oh, here's why they did it. Here's why the algorithm made these trades that made me this money."
Yeah.
So there's that added knowledge. But, and if you just want the algorithm and have it run, you're not going to get a better price and a better overall training and access to the people that have developed that app and to ask them direct questions, you one-on-one. Yeah. That's a big key.
Yeah. It's huge. And so, by the way, folks, I think you kind of got it from all of that, but we pay a fraction of what you would pay for that same exact algorithm to do the trading for us, and a fraction per month. All right. In fact, you can actually get it for free per month. All right.
Right.
So whereas most of those are $350, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, depending on where you're going. So if you're trading hundreds of thousands of dollars, you got millions of dollars you're putting into that account, great. You're not going to spend $5,000 or $10,000 and $500 a month to turn $250 into $1 million, because you're gonna spend so much more in fees over that time. It's never going to happen, right? So we get it at a fraction because we're part of this Quest, and same exact one. There's nothing different. So we are able to trade on our own through the education we get, but we're also able to utilize those algorithms. And to Stephen's point also, when people get those subscriptions, they usually get one algorithm.
Right. Correct.
We can pick from up to 7. Now, most of these are, 10, 15% per month or more. All right. One of them has not had a losing month in 2.5 years. That's the Alpha X. Think about that. It profits every single month. Does your 401k do that? Right. So I was just, it's funny because I was just talking with a guy before we get on here, and we're talking about trading. We're talking about metals because of the increase in the price of gold and silver, We talked about crypto, and it was pretty cool. But he's really into holding the physical stuff, which I agree with, right? And you want to do that, that's great. I do it, but at the same time, I want to be able to get control over how my money's used, and that's what we're able to do here with Forex.
Mhm.
But with Alpha X, one of the things that we talked about, and this is where I was going with all of that, is we have, because we get Alpha X, because we have Omni in our app and all the different stuff we can do automatically that we don't even have to be paying attention to, right? Although we could, all right. What we're working to put together is sort of a guideline, and we'll make that available. I'm sure there'll be some cost to it, but we'll make that available once it's complete and reviewed. So that way, anybody who wants to do this, but you're going to be able to set up your own self-directed. Anybody who's in the Quest will be able to set up their own self-directed IRA, and it'll be Roth, which means you're putting money in that is post-tax. So you've already been taxed on the money. It's income that you earned. Now you put it in. So you put in 1,000, 5,000, whatever it is, and then you tie it in with, say, Alpha X or Omni, and because it's in an IRA, it's a retirement account, and now you can start to build that up. Okay, you can let that go, and all of those gains are going to be tax-free. So to Stephen, your friend's point of I don't want to pay more in taxes, this is an easy way, right? You've already paid tax on the money, so now you turn it into.
I did not bring that up to him, and I am looking at it myself, changing the IRA that I have over to a Roth one, and that can be done. The reason for that is that, yeah, I'll have a tax that I'll pay now. However, in the future, as I trade and make significantly more than I would have having parked my money someplace and having a financial planner, earn me 8% annually, and not pay any tax on it. Now I can change that and earn significantly greater than that 8%.
Yeah.
And,
well, and
it really changes what you can look for in retirement. It really changes that whole picture.
It does.
It takes it and puts it at a different number. Because as long as I have my mental faculties, I can keep trading.
You can, and I want to go to a different piece, but before I do, so understanding trading, like we're learning, right, and we're trying to share with all of you, and I'm going to get to that next. But one of the cool things is because we control those accounts. See, folks, you can go, and I see people all the time trying to get me to get into this algorithm and do this and do this trading program. There's tons of trading programs out there. But when you don't control the whole thing, you don't control your own account, and you can't just pull money out whenever you want. You can't change trades that have been taken. You don't have any control. And algorithms, most of the algorithms, at least all the algorithms that I know of that are trading right now, they're trading on technicals, right? If President Trump comes in, or let's say, I don't know, Scott Bessent comes in and they say something that moves the market in a different direction, well, right, the algorithm will pick up the changes, but not before they happen, right? But the market changes because of those fundamentals. We've talked about that. We when news comes out, a war breaks out somewhere, I don't know, whatever it is, all kinds of different stuff that can change the market. The Fed talks, right? It's dangerous trading when the Fed talks. I lost a bunch of money. I actually lost about half my account. I built it up in Forex and lost about half of it when right after Powell spoke. It was like, and I'm listening to what he's saying, and it was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that good. This is going to make it go up, and I'm in a buy right now, and it just tanked. The market tanked. I was like, what just happened? With gold, it moves so fast
Right.
I mean, boom, gone. Right? So what do you do? Right? You just build it back up again. But that is one of those things that can happen. So you want to have an algorithm that really knows that stuff that's really good. But the point is, I could have gone if I had an algorithm that was trading on something, and I see a a fundamental change because of some news in the world. I could literally close out of that trade because I control the account. Yes, the algorithm takes the trades, but I can control it. And there's a lot of power in that. So you just have to have the understanding of it, right? So I just love that ability that we have and the tools that we have to trade. So let's take a look at some of the market here because
Yes.
we like to do that. So I'll share. So right now, so I was in gold earlier, taking a look. I was started marking things up. I hadn't even marked up my gold chart yet. This is my gold chart from yesterday, and so I'm in the 1 hour here, and I'm looking. So we've got right now. If I look at these two candles, these are both closed candles. I don't really look. I look at this candle, but this candle is um, it's a live candle, right? This candle's still going on. This is this current 1 hour cycle. So I'm not really looking at this as much as for direction. I'm looking at this as, yeah, it is what it is. But what I am looking at is historically what's happened before. So if I look over here and I see that these two candles, one started, one stopped, same place, right? If I go here, the beginning of one, I could I'm just going to put a line here, right? And so this line, and by the way, the line is above my where the price of gold is right now. So I'm going to change this to a red line because it's a point of resistance. If you look, this line held here, 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 here. It's held for hours. So that's a pretty good point of resistance. So that means that this candle, which is about 13 minutes left in it, probably won't be breaking this line. It could. All right, these two candles broke, but they came back down. So that's one line. The other thing I'm looking at is I'm looking for zones. So this right here is a supply zone. Why? Supply is always above where the price is, and demand is always below, right? Because demand is, hey, this is where the buyers are, and they're going to take it up. Supply is, we've got so much supply, it's going to drop the price, right? That's how I look at it. So I don't know. Did that make sense there, Stephen?
Yes.
It's just
You had it.
that's how I look at it. So so I know that we've got this resistance line here because you can see its history, but I'm also looking at where did the market close or where did candles close that are above this line that would create a zone. And so one of those zones would be over here, okay? And so I'm going to mark this and I'll explain why. Right. So this particular zone, and the reason it is because this candle, this green candle, this bullish candle, get that out of there, is less than 50% of these negative candles, right? Or these bearish candles, and you can see that drop, right? Now it's interesting because normally we don't see it quite like this. But you can string these candles together, and because these candles together are significantly more than double this is a zone where there's probably a lot of sellers. So if the market does break this line, it's even less of a chance it's going to break this line. Okay, so that's why I create that zone. I put in that zone. Now I'm going to remove this old zone. That was from yesterday. And let me remove this line here as well. So that's where I think at least, unless there's something crazy that happens, where this is going to go, it's not going to go any higher than this back wall. Looking at it on the below where the market is now, we've got a great zone right here. And because it's below, it's a demand zone. So I'm going to change this to green here. So I'm looking at this one because we have a relatively thin candle and a much larger red candle, right? So there's a zone here that's going to have some level of resistance. However, we've already gone way past that. Okay. So one of the things that we were taught from Donnie is if a zone is broken, in other words, the zone, a candle goes through the zone and closes below that zone is flipped. All right. And this zone was flipped. It was flipped red. And then it went the other way. It's broken many times. So because of that, even though this is a zone, I'm not using this. I guess I don't want to be too confusing there. This would have been a very good zone because this candle, which is much lower, is more than twice the size of it, right? But now, since we've broken that zone, I know it's going to be lower. So let me get rid of this other zone here. And I'm going to get rid of this one because, again, those are from yesterday. So these two are active. So let's look down here. So we've got a resistance line here because these, well, we will once this closes. Here we do have a resistance line. And I'm going to make that one, or a support line, I should say. This line, by the way, is a buying line. All right. Because I'm looking and say, all right, these two candles, one stopped here, one went up from there. Yes, these two went down below, but they also went up. This is a line of support that I could purchase from, that I could buy from. So the next thing I'm looking at is there anything else here that is a zone that hasn't been broken? And I'm looking. This one. Yeah, so they all have. This one is not twice the size. So I'm still looking back. Is there something you're seeing that I'm not?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. So I do hope you feel better soon too. So when I look at these, I'm like, okay, great. Well, I know I've got a low here, which is another point. So we go here. So that's another potential buy line. So if it broke this one, I'm here. So if I really want to go down below, I could, but where are we here? So I'm really looking at, if I'm down in this area, I'd be looking right here.
Yeah, it's that far back. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm looking at that. And again, folks, this is not financial advice, right? We're still learning. So I'm just telling you what I'm going through. When I look at these, I'm like, sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. One of the things that Donnie says is, look, when you're working with a chart, if it seems like there's a lot of noise, it's really tough to tell where it is. Well, change your time frame. So I could go up to the 2 hour. Is the 2 hour more clear? All right, I could go to the 4 hour, let's say. Is that more clear? And let's look at this. So on the 4 hour, I made those nice and big to look at. All right, so you can see where the market is. It's this red line that moves. Okay. So I know that on the 4-hour, we've got a line of resistance here. But we also have, let's see. Yeah, it's not really helping me much. We'll get that line of resistance there. But the other thing I would look at, because I can come back here and look at others, the other thing that I would personally look at is I'm looking at the moving averages. So we've got a 10 moving average, which is the white line, the blue line, which is a 20 moving average, the red line, which is the 66 moving average. And where's the 200? Oh, you know what? It's not showing because I have the 200 on my Einstein, and I had Einstein off. So now let's look, where's that 200? There it is, it's way down there. So the 200 moving average, so that's the, and this is based off the 4-hour, okay, but it's pretty far down there. So what we look at is, where are things going? So let me go back here so we can see it. I'm going to go back to the 1-hour for a minute. And on the 1-hour, I want to see the same things. So we've got the let's see, where is that 200 on this one? Wow. Yeah. So again, we've got the 66, the 20 moving average up here, the 66 here, and the 200 here. If gold were to break through the zones that we have marked, what's to stop it from going all the way down to the 200? Right? So you want, if you're going to trade and you're going to learn to trade, one of the things we found is that we have to look at where are those points of resistance, where are those points where buyers are hanging out that will buy it and take it back up, right? And so there's definitely buyers in this zone, all right, and you can see it because it's right there. It stops it. And by the way, is that a? Oh no, those are my marks. So when I was putting in those resistance lines, you can see we got the line of resistance here, line of resistance here, we got the zone here. Those zones have held. Okay. Let's bring this down. But what else is going to stop it? If it broke through this zone, is there anything below it before the 200? Yes, there are some other zones. Yeah. Right. So I've got another zone here that I could put in, which I will. And why am I concerned with it breaking through there? Well, if I was in a buy, like let's say I took a buy at this while it was in this zone, which I am potentially going to do. All right. When I do that, if it continues below it, then I need to know where it's going to stop. I'm okay taking it down to here maybe and have a drawdown if it's going to turn back around and come up here, right? If I'm taking a buy. Now, if it breaks this zone, then maybe, and it closes down below here, then maybe I want to take a sell, right? So how far down can it go? Well, what's in the way between that point and the 200? Well, this zone is one. And if we go down, there might be some others. There are definitely some, like here's another zone here, right? So there's a bunch of things that are going to stop it from hitting that 200. There's a bunch of places where buyers could be hanging out. All right, so I know that I've got a lot of places of support that would help to stop let's say a drop, unless there's a war. Right? Or some kind of crazy fundamental that says, hey, we're selling gold now, right? Or the world was at complete peace. And it's like, oh, all right, we're all good, right? So let's go buy some gold, whatever it is. You know, whatever might tweak the market from a fundamental standpoint, that I have to watch. But outside of that, and that stuff isn't always happening, right? There's always stuff happening in the world, but you don't see um, the impact of it on the market, on the forex market, in particular pairs, 24 hours a day, right? Sometimes you don't see it for days or weeks, right? Depending on what you're trading. So that's why you have to look at the technicals. And what I'm showing you right now is just technicals,
Right.
right? And it's my understanding of the technicals, by the way. It doesn't mean that it's 100% right. That's why I say, you know, you want to learn this on your own. You want to go through the videos on your own. You want to ask questions. You know, let's say of Donnie Pips, right? You can ask questions of Don LaPlume, but I'm going to be like, well, you know what? This is what I think, but I'm still learning. So, is that fair, Stephen?
Oh, yes, exactly. Like today, Donnie had a trade, and Donnie does not tell you, take this trade. He will say, I like this trade. I really, really, really like this trade. And that's his way of saying that. And he shows you what, but the most important thing, he shows why. He shows what's lined up. You know, what makes it, in his mind, a good trade, a really good trade, or a really, really good trade. And he shows that.
Yeah.
And that's really important because you pick that up and you learn it too.
Yes. Which is awesome. And you can see gold is really not moving a lot right now. We keep saying how much gold moves. It's not moving a whole lot right now. And it's right there at that 20 moving average, that blue line, right? And that resistance line is held 3 times so far. Now we do have, what do we have left in this candle here? Oh, we just opened up a new candle. And no wonder it's not moving. That's so weird. I have a frozen screen.
Oh.
I'm like, wait a minute, it's not moving at all. So I just went to the British pound, Japanese yen, or what we call a GJ, and I'm looking at that one for a moment. Let me go back to gold, see if that starts to move. No, I am missing the candle, so I'll have to refresh this, but that's okay because we're towards the end. We're at the end of the podcast, anyways, for today. But I guess, you know, anyone who wants to learn this stuff, yes, we're learning it. Can we explain it perfectly just yet? Probably not, but we're getting there, right? We're learning more and more every day, and part of that learning is by doing the trades that we do, right? Because we can trade either on paper, which means we're doing a demo trade, we're using a demo account. We can't lose money. We also can't earn money that way, but we don't lose anything. And then the other thing we get to do is do it live. And so all of my trades right now, for the most part, are live. And so they're not super huge trades, but they're trades that I am taking because I want to learn how this works. And I'm willing to, I guess you could say, put my money where my mouth is, but on small numbers. I'm not willing to do huge lot sizes yet because I really want to make sure that I'm understanding it, and so that's what we do. So if you want to learn these things, as we have and as we are, join us in the quest. Go to q2am.com. And tomorrow, like we said, Mike's going to be here. He'll be back because he'll be coming in from, I think it's Aruba. I forget where it is that he's going.
Yeah, I think maybe it's Aruba, but and he'll be nice and he'll show us all the pictures and tell us how warm it is. Yes, exactly.
Yes, I'm sure he'll tell us how warm it is.
He'll turn his screen and he'll show the ocean right behind him. Yes.
Yes. So he'll be enjoying himself, and he'll probably be in a trade because that's Michael, right?
Exactly.
So, but and that's awesome. So yeah, you can do this anywhere. You can do it on vacation. You can have a good time, and you can be making money while you're doing it. And that's okay. Good. We got some movement there now. That candle finally opened up. That was really odd where the candle wasn't there.
Correct.
So, but actually, and it's funny, you can tell when it opened up, it should have opened right where this closed. Right now look at that movement. Right, that's what I expect to see. But it should have opened up here because that's where it closed. The next one opens here, and then it either goes up or down. Well, in this particular case, there is a gap. And normally that happens if there's something that's going on in the market. In this case, I think it was just something that happened with TradingView, but I don't know for sure. So either way, that's where the market is now. So with that, any closing words there, Stephen?
And just touch on where Mike is. So Mike's on vacation with his whole family. And with a few trades that he may make while he's there, taking up, a little bit of his time, he may have his vacation paid for. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. When you think about it, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just a great opportunity. Correct. And it's a great skill to learn. So we've got a long ways to go, but we've been at this for a few months now. Really, we're in our 4th month, and Donnie Pipp said, "Look, it took me 2 years to really get there."
Correct. Yep.
But I spend that time. 1, it's fun. 2, we're making money, and 3, we're learning something new, which is great. So with that, hey, join us in the quest. Join us back tomorrow for some fun and maybe even some live trades. That's what we're hoping to do. And I'll see if I can put. I'm going to have a couple more trades today, anyways, and I'll see if I can share the results of that tomorrow when we come together again. So with that, have a fantastic day, all, and we will see you around 10:15 or so Friday morning. Take care.